Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to more Escape from Tarkov. Now today we're going to talk about GDC. Now GDC just ended over the weekend and there's been some great news, and if you're wondering what's going to happen with Escape from Tarkov in the sort of near future, in the far future and things like that, then this is it. This is where I'm going to give you all the details. It was about an hour long sort of live stream where the devs sort of went into details about what's going to happen in the game and what kind of stuff they're going to be adding in and things like that. So the first thing that we are going to get, and it's going to be this month, is going to be scav mode. Now here's a couple of things that you should know about scav mode. Scav mode basically has no risk. It's going to be coming out at some point this month. And when I mean no risk, I mean you basically spawn as a scav with random loot, random gear, and you go in, you have to survive all the way to the end if you want to get some of that looty out. Now you can play as a scav once an hour. If you want to play a little bit more than that, you'll have to pay some in-game sort of currency if you want to play a little bit more. You can spawn in as a random scav. Now what does that mean? As a random scav, you can spawn in with an AK, you can spawn in with a shotgun, you can spawn in with a pistol, or you can spawn in with a knife. That's kind of sort of the odds, what they're trying to make it. They're trying to make it as random as it possibly can be, so it creates a bit more of a sort of cool fight sort of mechanic going on in the game, where you don't just spawn in with an AK and you wait for people to come in with knives and things like that, because like we sort of talked about in previous videos, a lot of people do prefer to go in with just a knife. Hopefully you can just sort of knife an AI and grab his gun and then you got yourself some loot. You will get, like I said, random weapons, random gear, random appearance, so you'll get all sorts of things like that. Now, one of the things with the scavs, they're going to be pretty loud because they will comment on pretty much everything they see. So they'll kind of talk to each other throughout the map, and you can be next to each other, and they will talk and they'll be loud. Therefore, giving the real players more of a chance to shoot you in the face because they'll know where you are. Sure, you can still crouch and things like that, but you don't really control them sort of relaying information to one another. So that's going to sort of give you away a little bit more. The AI scavs will not be hostile towards you, even though you are a scav. You are partied up with them, unless you be a dick and you shoot the scavs in the back trying to grab his loot, then they will be hostile towards you. You will need to survive to the end of the raid if you want to get yourself some loot out. Chances are you may spawn with AI scavs. There's going to be plenty of scavs points available. May party with friends. If you want to be a scav team, then you can party up with your friends and you can spawn in random waves. When I mean random waves, I mean you can spawn in sort of towards the middle of the raid, you can spawn in towards the end of the raid, so you might not have to wait that long in order for you to get yourself some looty, and hopefully you're only going to have 1 or 2 players left. They should be easily killed, and therefore a little box will appear where you can transfer items into your regular sort of main character stash, but you will need to survive if you want to escape with some good looty. Now, another thing that they talked about in the live stream was location. So we kind of wanted to see some new maps being a bit sort of parts of the map being opened, and the streets of Tarkov are in development, so that's what they're working on. The streets of Tarkov will be very big. Lots of lootable buildings, rooms, things like that, and shoreline locations also in development, and shoreline will be 2 times the size of Woods. Now, you know Woods is a pretty decent sized sort of area, and there's plenty of stuff for you to go and explore and find, but it's going to be double that size. So sort of in the big scope of things, it's going to be pretty huge when eventually it does get released, and it's going to be open for you to just sort of explore and find out the truth about Tarkov and why you need to escape and things like that. It's going to be a while. They didn't actually give a specific date for that, but it looks pretty promising though. Another thing they talked about is the container that you have in your inventory. You know, your secure container is basically sort of 3x3 now. You can have a little bit of loot inside and that's it, but you won't really fit a rifle. So what they talked about, that once they get more updates into the game and things progress to sort of where they want the game to progress, you can buy or receive a larger secure container as a reward from one of the traders. Now, how does that work? Well, the way they sort of explained it is that they will have sort of quests where you need to do certain things and you will be rewarded with one. Or you can just buy one, but it might be just expensive, or how that's going to work we'll see sort of later down the line. Now, they also talked about how you may be able to put in a whole rifle in your secure container. So if you go in with a knife, you've seen a rifle somewhere, pick it up and put it in, and that's it. But the problem is that needs to be pretty big container for you to be able to hold a whole rifle. Now, they mentioned that taking weapon apart will make the sort of the rifle smaller so you can fit it into your container. So if it's 3x3 now, and it's going to be sort of 4x4, 5x5 or something like that, it might still not be long enough for you to have it. But if they actually add the customization in game where you can take off, say, the buttstock, or you can take off stuff like parts from your weapon, you will be able to fit it inside, and therefore you can just escape with a weapon that way. So that's kind of what they went into details about that. There wasn't really too much. They mentioned it a little bit, but it's sort of good enough just to give us an indication what they're thinking about. Another thing that you're probably asking how it's going to work is trading. This is something that I've been asking myself, and I really wanted to see how that's going to be part of the game. Now, they said that you can be a trader yourself. Obviously, you'll need sort of to master some sort of levels before you can actually be a trader yourself. But they kind of want to cater to every single type of player out there. So if you just want to be hardcore sort of shooting and things like that, and you could do that. If you want to be a trader, you could be doing that. And they're going to have sort of different things where if you're not really just into that much hardcore shooting and things like that, then they will have sort of different things and different types of modes and things like that where you can just get into the game, just shoot some shit, and just going to have some fun. Another thing what they mentioned is the console release may happen, but is for the PC sort of primary. They don't know when the console thing is going to be out eventually. They said they're definitely going to look into it. It is planned at some point, but until they sort of get the whole game and everything ready for the PC, they're not going to look into that just yet. Now, if you do happen to lose all your stuff in the game, will help you out. The trader may send you some goods, and some administration might help you out. How's that really going to work? I mean, that's kind of it, really, for that kind of information. We sort of don't know a little bit more about it. They sort of went on and talked about the sort of weapon master levels and things like that. Like final weapon master level allows you to reload while aiming, your sights down and things like that. Now, they did talk about another thing which I found was quite interesting, and that is going to be karma. So what do we know for karma so far? Well, it's still in development. It's basically about you being nice to the people around you. Bad karma, it's basically the traders won't trade with you or let you sell certain items to them. You'll get ill more often, your weapons will jam more, strange things will sort of happen near, with you, around you, with you, all of your friends and things like that. So it's kind of cool to see that the karma system, it's something that they'll pay attention to him. Instead of you sort of spawning in and just sort of shooting everybody in the back and being a bad dude, just shooting somebody for sort of no reason, that's kind of where the bad karma should kick in. Now, they also talked about the storyline of the sort of game, and there's going to be some lore behind it and things like that. So storyline's going to be oriented, big amount of quest, not just about fighting, exploration, what's going on, what's the truth, why you're escaping, why you're in Tarkov and things like that. Quests are going to be a really huge part of the game, and there's going to be a ton of quests. There's going to be loads of that. And I mentioned the trading system, the flea markets, the player traders, the raids. The raids are going to be the first game mode, and then find end game scenarios to resolve mysteries around Tarkov. That's kind of what they went into a few details about, and it looks pretty cool and it sounds pretty cool that the game has got this sort of big dream about being something a lot more than just sort of tactical shooting and just making sure that you escape with some loot and things like that, because that can get a little bit boring sometimes for some of the players. They're looking for a little bit more than just straight up just shoot them and then that's that. So having lots of quests, lots of things for you to do, and lots of side mysteries and things like that for you to investigate, and having the big open world, which they did mention that eventually they will have a free roam where the whole thing's going to be big, open, it's up for you to explore, and then you can go from one side of the map to the other side at your own pace. You can just go about and lose yourself in Tarkov, explore and discover things like that. You will be able to do that, but it's going to take some time before they actually get there. And a couple of more important dates which they mentioned is they're trying to aim for early summer. They're trying to get into the closed beta, and the open beta should be around sort of the end of summer. That's kind of what the plan is for now. But for now, that's kind of most of the information we have so far. One of the things I'm really looking forward, like I said, is the trading system. I want to see how the trading goes. Now, I know some of you in the previous video said, well, dude, don't save up certain things because they're going to get deleted. Well, they said they're not going to do actual wipes. And the last time they actually did an update, there wasn't any sort of wipes. They didn't wipe all the stuff I had, and they still kept all my loot. So for now, obviously, they probably will do one when sort of the closed beta begins and whatever. But until then, I'm going to try and get at a couple of levels with this vendor where I can sell him a couple of things, and just to see what kind of discounts do I get, what kind of things do I get from him. I just kind of, whatever I get, I'm not going to keep a lot of loot. I'm going to keep 1 or 2 guns and whatever, and that's it, just to have it. But mostly whatever I get from the raids, I'm just going to end up selling, just to see how far I can go into his good graces, and then hopefully he'll be able to sell me different things. Maybe he'll be able to give me better deals. He'll offer different things. I don't know how that's all gonna work, but hopefully we'll see how that's gonna be. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me for today. That's kind of all the info on the sort of Escape from Tarkov. It definitely looks really cool. It looks promising. I'm really looking forward to sort of playing and getting to a stage where it's going to be a lot more than just go around and just shoot 3 AIs or 2 players and get some of the loot out. It's going to be definitely going to be more interesting. But for now, that's kind of it. If you do notice, if you have noticed a little bit of a sort of freezing and things like that in the game, that's me, because I've changed my motherboard the other day, and I tried it with 8 sort of gig of RAM, which is the recommended settings and things like that, just to see how it all works. So if you're thinking, well, it's a bit sort of laggy here and there, don't worry, it's not, because once I put in the 16 gig of RAM, it runs smooth as a smooth can go. So it's just about me sort of testing a couple of things. But yeah, that's it for me for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.